Hi, this is Laura, and we are here today with Laura. She's going to tell us about the book that she's writing. So I've got her bio here. I'm going to introduce her. So Laura is proudly Canadian from the East Coast. She came to Taiwan in 2004, so she's been here for 20 years. And she teaches English and is also married to a local Taiwanese man and has started a family of two interesting children. She's very interested in nature and exercise and other people and also developing herself. She's a business owner and event planner. A few years ago, she decided to get out of her comfort zone and try something new and started writing a book. So, welcome here today, Laura. And you're still writing this book, is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, I'm in the kind of finishing stages. I'm finishing up some indexes to go with the story, but the whole story part is pretty much done. Waiting for my
Wonderful.
mentor, and the artwork still needs to be done and things like that. But now,
Mhm.
definitely, the light is at the end of the tunnel. I can start to
Wonderful.
see, oh, there's the glimmer. We're getting there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Laura and I have known each other on and off for many years. Isn't that
Yes.
true, Laura?
I was
Yes.
trying to think of that the other day. Like I was want to bring us back to 2005, 2006, 2007-ish
Yeah, because
time
I
period.
remember we used one of your flights to send a dog
That's
to
right.
Canada.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's where, and we drove with you as well. And I just had such a great admiration with all the love and care you were doing for these little fur balls over here.
yeah, yeah, that was a different life. That was so long
Yeah.
ago. And also, our kids kind of know each other. We kind of get together as parents in the expat community here, don't we?
Yeah, we have a lot of mutual friends, and a lot of us now have made Taiwan our home. So when there's a child birthday or things like that, usually people do their best to make the effort to come together and see
Right.
each other. So it's lovely. It's nice.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. So, how did we start talking about your book?
I think I was following you on your IG account and just following all the amazing accomplishments that you've been doing and just following your journey. And you were inspiring me. So I just kept, when I would see that you would post things, I just wanted to interact with you and give you support and learn more about what you were doing. And I think at one stage, uh, I think just at one stage, I thought I would share, oh, I'm on a little project as well. And I think it kind of started
Right.
that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. So, can you tell everybody who's listening what inspired you to write this book?
All right, I'll try to keep it simple because really, I mean, life is my inspiration, the ups and
Okay.
downs of
Yeah.
life. And I mean, more so, probably the downs of life. I think I remember listening to you speak about what motivated you to write your book, Unleashed. And you were talking
Yeah.
about some chronic pain. And just,
Yeah.
not only is it pain for the body, but it's like an emotional and mental struggle that you go through. And so I had kind of my own different, it wasn't a physical pain, but I, as we all do, was going through some stuff. And I started finally, after about 25 years or more of everyone saying, Laura, dear, you should meditate. And I always
Mhm.
threw meditation off as, oh, that's a mumbo jumbo thing. I just need to run. I just need to exercise. And that's what I do. And that was always my attitude. But then I
Right.
just got to my wits' end where really I was like, nothing's working. So what should I do? So I
Right.
finally just said, okay, I'm going to start meditating and I'm going to go to my local mountain and I'm going to do it there and start doing the guided things. And I became quite diligent at it. And I
Yeah.
would say that experience of surrounding myself in nature and the positive affirmations and the type of meditations that I was doing kind of unlocked something within that I didn't even know existed in myself. I didn't really
Right.
know I or considered myself to be a writer or artist of anything of the sorts. I appreciated art, but I never would
Mm.
classify myself. And through this process, just a lot of stories and writing started to come out. So it actually really
Mm.
started with poetry, which I just didn't even know what was
Mm.
going on at the time because I was like, I'm not a poet. I don't read poetry. I don't know why these rhymes and messages would just kind of like come to me and I'd have to stop whatever I was doing and just like write it down, whether it be the middle of the night or in a grocery store.
Right.
And that happened for about a year where it was very uncontrollable, but everything that was coming through was having to do, I think, with my own self healing and what I can
Okay.
do to get myself out of this rut. And in the middle of
Yeah.
all that, I had this story that came
Yeah.
out, but I saw it as something very small, a child book, like something you could go through. And it was, really also inspired by my son, who at that stage in his life got his voice. And
Mm.
man, that child did not stop talking. And
Yeah.
also the local sounds of chickens
Right.
everywhere. I would say those two things, which sounds strange. My son who never
Right.
stopped talking, and chickens who cock-a-doodle-dood all the way,
Yeah.
started the inspiration and my desire to heal myself, what worked for me. Also, my interest and curiosity around ancient knowledge and civilizations
Yeah.
definitely are huge. People like Graham Hancock, Randall Carlson, and Jimmy Corsett from Bright Insight, those
Right.
guys, with all of their research and how they explain things or pose questions about the
Mm.
ancient world, just created some passion within me. And I was so interested. So I just started diving deeper and deeper into my own little rabbit holes, per se.
Yeah.
And from a lot of the knowledge that I was gaining, that also compacted and started adding into what at first was, I thought, just, a colorful little small child book, into
Yeah.
now becoming like a novel. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
it's
it is a
interesting. So it's a
fiction.
lot of life and discovery, which kind of have led, oh, well, this seems like this should fit on that. And then you meditate on it and then you get another
Right.
idea. And so I've been kind of following this holistic path of just enjoying the process, enjoying the
Yeah.
time with myself, my imagination, and learning about
Right.
numerous different topics that I'm integrating into, I guess, what you could call how would I label it? I guess a sci-fi spiritual adventure journey that can
Mm.
connect to a wide range of ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sci-fi spiritual adventure.
Yes.
Wow.
I guess that's what
Yeah.
it would have to be,
Yeah. So
because
this
I
has
do
had some,
love Star Wars. Love
as
sci
we all do.
I do. I love sci-fi. So definitely sci-fi is a huge influence for me and my
Yeah.
imagination and the
Yeah.
possibility of what exists in this universe.
Yeah. It sounds like writing this book has been such a creative outlet for you, like as you say, for like your self-healing and for
Mhm.
getting you out of a rut that you were feeling that
Yes,
you were in. And this is like a personal benefit that you have felt from writing this book.
100%. And I always
Yeah.
joke kind of to my husband and friends who are aware about what I'm doing. And I just kind of offhandedly say, yes, like, once I finish this series, I'm totally going to be healed, because I feel as I'm going through this adventure, I keep discovering. I mean, I've discovered some ancient knowledge that has resonated so well with me that I
Yeah,
really do feel it's changed my life for the better. It's changed my perception of how do I see the world? How do I see myself? How do I see this journey we
right.
call life? And it
Yeah,
certainly makes it more interesting and
yeah,
fascinating. And it honestly I'm excited to wake up every day.
yeah. And you mentioned that this is a
Yeah.
series.
In my elaborate imagination, it will be a series, yes. Because
Okay.
there's certain
Okay.
things my main character, because I don't want to say too much, but like every novel, there's always your conflict and how are you going to make the resolution. So within my story, my main character needs to learn these certain sets of principles, and you
Hmm.
can't fit them all into one book. I think it would be too
Okay.
overwhelming to people who have not learned about this ancient knowledge before. And I would love to share and just hope that, even if just one person benefits the way that I have through this discovery of, some of our lost past as a human species, if
Hmm.
that helps them want to wake up in the morning and discover
Yeah.
and be excited about life, then I'm so satisfied.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I find that very interesting too, that you're writing this book in the hopes that you're helping other people as well. It's
Oh,
going to be a
1000%.
resource. It's going to be like a self-development resource for people.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, that's within my mind's eye. How other people perceive it is nothing I can really do about.
Yeah.
But yes, within my mind's eye, there are definitely tools and suggestions and ways that we can look within and try to figure out, well, what works for me? Because, what works for me is not going to work for you. You might, you need to Caroline it and tweak it to fit who you are
Right.
and what yours is. It's the same aspect I see with teaching, like I love
Yeah.
observing other teachers teach and
Yeah.
see how do they approach different things. And I'm like, oh, what he did was so awesome, but I'll just
Yeah.
tweak it and Laurenize it a little bit to suit my
Yeah.
personality as an educator. And I
Right.
feel when it comes to how do we heal ourselves, how do we become the best person that we can be, it's not the same recipe for
Right.
everybody.
Right.
And it's you just need to be willing to take that chance on yourself and to play
Right.
around with some things that have worked for other people and test it out
Yeah.
and what's the word, and adjust it to how it fits your lifestyle and where you are. Because for
Yeah.
me, it's definitely been a big journey from when I started writing the book to where I am now. And I
Yeah.
feel I certainly have elevated, I feel I've leveled up for myself of how
Yeah.
I view the world and I view myself. And so I'm very grateful for that. I feel it's a great privilege that I've had the time to spend on my own, to do this research, to have fun and learn how to write in this kind of way. I mean, in the past, I've only written academically and I was
Yeah.
good at that. But I mean, this is
Yeah.
another ballgame.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've
Mhm.
talked, like you mentioned that this has been a really big, like long journey and it's continuing for you. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you faced on this journey, like this writing journey?
Yes, without a doubt. A lot of challenge. I mean, number one is just learning some of the structure and the way to develop fictional writing, where in the
Right.
past I was used to academic writing, and that's a totally different
Okay.
feeling. Another
Yeah.
big challenge I found was just kind of taking myself seriously. Time management was a big thing,
Yeah.
of like, oh, well, it's not really important. It's just your side little thing. And if you don't really structure your time and manage your time to fit it into whatever your schedule is, then you're
Yeah.
going to proceed a lot slower. And I think my first beginning, that's what I was like. And that's why,
Mm.
I take huge amounts of gaps in between writing,
Mm.
and I wasn't consistent, but this is part of my journey of what I've learned. And my mentor actually really helped me. So a lot of
Mm.
this process, I've had an amazing mentor and friend, and
Mm.
he is far more knowledgeable in the entire literature, writing, creating world. And he, for me, has just been my rock, and an amazing constructive criticism, and knows when to pump me up and knows when, hey, why don't you focus it like this, and never feeling like,
Mm.
oh my God, I'm terrible. It's just, he's been a great motivator. So
Okay.
most of my challenges all are within my own perception of myself, and maybe the self-doubt creeping in
Right.
on there, being, what do you think you're doing,
Yeah.
silly lady? And so I find those were my challenges of kind of getting over myself and taking a risk and chance on myself and believing in
Mm.
myself that, hey, why can't you do it? Age is just a number. Just because you never did this when you're in your 20s, why
Yeah.
can't you do it when you're in your 40s?
Right.
There's no law. The only
Yeah.
law and limits that we're setting are the ones we set on ourselves. So I
Yeah.
feel those were my challenges.
Yeah. So it sounds like, I mean, I've got your challenges as developing characters and time
Hmm.
management skills and taking yourself seriously and the self-doubt and finding the value in what you have to say and what you want to write. And you told
Correct.
me that what you've been doing is reframing your limiting beliefs around these topics. Is that your
Yes.
main tool? Do you have any other tools for overcoming these challenges? Like time management?
Uh,
What's your main tool for overcoming time management issues?
I just sat down and I looked at my schedule and I said,
Yeah,
all right, lady, you have a chunk here. You should dedicate at least 1 hour this day, this day, this day, and this day. And you do
right.
what you need to do. And do you know what? It's okay if you looked at that one sentence for 30 minutes, still trying
Yeah,
to think, oh, is it really okay? I was like, that's part of the process. And then there's
yeah,
other times where you're like, the flow is in and you're like, "Rrrr," and you can get a
yeah,
lot of your ideas out. So accepting that, maybe that hour that you spend, you actually
yeah,
maybe only fixed or wrote 2 sentences that you're happy with. But the fact that you
right,
sat down and you did it, and then it just becomes a habit and becomes a normal part of your life. And so
right,
now where I
right, right,
am,
right.
I'm just so excited when I have that time. All I want to do is sit down and, let's explore this, or I need this time today is all about research. So it's not always about
Mm,
writing. Sometimes it's about research,
mm,
a certain angle and information I hope to share with people, and making
yeah,
sure I get the information correct and I'm sourcing where I'm getting a lot of my stuff from as
right,
well when it comes to a lot of this ancient knowledge.
right, yeah. And
Hmm.
you also mentioned that you have a mentor, a writing
Yes,
mentor.
yes.
Okay,
And he's
so
been
this
one.
person, okay, so this person helps you with the structure, like developing your characters, that kind of thing.
Well, he gives me tips. He's like, hey, you need to look at it this way. Hey, you need to look at
Mm.
that way. And he's also going to be the illustrator for my book as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So it's really, because that's how the whole thing started. When the story was just
yeah,
about 6 pages long, I sent it off to him and I was like, what do you think about you doing the artwork for this? Because he's done his own comic books. He's an amazing
right.
artist. And we're just
Yeah,
close. And I love his energy. And he, like, I'm sold, because it was a bit of a wacky idea.
Yeah.
And then it just turned, I would turn to him and he was just so knowledgeable. I mean, this is what his academic background is in. So he's well read, he's experienced with going through a little bit of the publishing and creating his own stories, but he does his through comics and he does the writing as well as the artwork.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
has been a super help. So that'd be another
Yeah.
recommendation that, if you have someone close to you in your life that you really enjoy that has that knowledge and you guys have that kind of friendship, it's something that you can bond and learn from one another, and it makes the journey even more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were also talking before we started this interview, this recorded part. We were also talking about the fact that you use a pseudonym. Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more, just to briefly explain to us why, first of all, you use a pseudonym, what your pseudonym is? I'm having trouble saying the word
We
pseudonym.
taught
And
English before.
say it 3 times fast. Pseudonym. So, yeah, can you just tell us about your choice and where your pseudonym comes from and what it is, just briefly?
Sure. I don't know. I just always
Yeah,
had a feeling I didn't want to use my birth name. I mean, I'm thankful for my birth name, but
yeah,
with what I'm writing about, I don't know. I just knew. I just had this feeling, but then I was like, well, it doesn't matter. I don't need to think about this
right.
now. I'm such the beginning of
Yeah,
stages. I need to focus on, learning how to write, how to organize my chapters, like all these different things that go into my little mini university I created for myself. And then not that long ago, I was in
yeah.
a meditation. And within that meditation, I met one of my spirit guides, and their name was Ahmala. And it just really resonated so strongly with me. And I just started following my gut feeling and did a little bit more research because I'm also into numerology and numbers and things like that. I find are excellent guides, and just they're my cup of
Hmm.
tea. And so when I kind of did the
Yeah.
comparison of my birth name to this pseudonym, it just everything matched
Yeah.
up a lot more suitable
Okay.
for this project that I'm
Yeah.
working on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
So can you please reveal to us what the title of your series is
I don't
and
know. I think I might still keep that a little bit of zipped lip.
okay.
Maybe in the
Oh,
coming not too far, I will have something released probably before publishing. I mean, that's the next challenge right there.
right. That was my next question was how are you going to publish and where are you going to publish?
These are all wonderful questions, Caroline, that I also ask myself. And I'm only getting to the time now where it's nearing completion and there's, a little bit of dusting here and there that needs to be done with the book. This is my next challenge. And
Right.
the next, it's a huge wealth of knowledge to
Hmm.
understand, well, what do you do? Do you go self-publishing? Do you semi-self-publish? And then you have distribution. How do you get your story out there? So this
Right.
is, I would say, my greatest next challenge, and definitely something I would love some help on or anecdotes about just to see
Right.
which path I should be going. But I'm kind of a bit of an empty slate with this. Like, I can't
Okay.
answer those questions because I'm really unsure about myself because I just don't know enough about it yet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But I think you could
So
probably share some of your stories with me since you are an
I
Amazon bestseller.
yeah, yes, you
So
might want to
you've
consider
gone through
Amazon.
some of this.
Yes.
I'd like to
Yeah,
hear how you discovered to go that way and what
yes.
brought you there. And maybe
Yes.
that could be something that could help me start walking the path towards something a little
Yes,
more
maybe that's another
sustainable.
conversation.
Probably,
Yeah.
probably. But you have a wealth of knowledge for us all, lovely Caroline.
Thank you. Okay, so moving forward with your book, I'll start with the first question, which is, what is there any more help that you would have appreciated why in the process of writing your book? And
Mm-hmm.
then the second one is there any help that you would appreciate moving forward?
I think all the help and the support that I received during this journey, I can't complain about it. I think it
Mm,
all served its purpose very well.
mm,
Some of the harsh criticism that I got from my father at first kind of
mm,
devastated me. But then, really, like I said to him before, I was like, if you never were honest like that, I never would have taken the time to reflect upon how I was structuring it. So I found it was all super beneficial. And
mm.
I can't complain. I feel wherever I needed the help, I received it,
Okay.
whether it came from within, whether it came from my mentor or somebody in
Mhm.
my family or a close friend. Like I had that support system there. So I really don't have
Wonderful.
any complaints, just gratitude.
Right.
In the future, I think it's all about publishing, distribution,
Okay.
and trying to
Yeah.
gain that kind of knowledge and also to truly appreciate and understand what are the options.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where my next little journey will. Then I'm at the bottom of that mountain now, and I'm all right. There's the mountain. Which way am I
Yeah.
gonna go?
Yeah. And can you just tell us quickly, how long has it taken you to pretty much finish this book?
Oh my gosh. On and off with taking like sometimes months at a time break. I think I started this, it's about 6 years.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow, this
it's
is a big
not like
project.
I am not a speedster. I've been really turtled it. I was turtling the
Hmm.
first 3 years for sure. And I hadn't realized what time management was or taking this project seriously.
Right.
And also just dealing with other aspects of my life that I needed to give more time to. And then as things develop and as I educate myself, then it's
Hmm.
really the last 2 years where I feel I've upgraded of how I look at it and see it.
Hmm.
There's a lot of research and things that I often need to do
Hmm.
for the story and for you know what I want to share. And so
Hmm.
sometimes it's I'm discovering, oh my gosh, I discover this thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this needs to be integrated. I got to go back and read the whole thing again and see where can I fit this piece of information in because I feel it's meant to be there. I'm supposed to
Right.
put it there. And I think it's
Right.
extremely helpful because it's changed my life.
Right.
So how maybe it can change that one other life.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? Your book is the solution to somebody else's problem. Somebody's
Mm-hmm.
going to read your book and it's going to make their lives better.
That's the hope and the dreams.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap
All
this
right.
up. This is my last question. So, what advice would you give to any aspiring authors who are listening to this and they've heard your input and about your experience? What
Mm-hmm.
advice would you give them?
I would say if you're someone prone to self doubt and negative thoughts, that you take those two aspects of your life, you take them and be like, thanks, but not today, my friend. Put them in a little imaginary box and throw them in the river. There's no room for that. Making mistakes is all about the process of life. We do it in our jobs, we do it with our family and friends. So we are also going to do it within this writing process.
Yeah,
So that would be a big piece of advice. And also just try to make time in your daily life, or at least in your weekly life, where you really put that time aside for yourself and give yourself the time to be alone, to think with allow your imagination to run with whatever kind of topic or story you feel like you want to get out there, and be patient with yourself
Mm.
is a big thing. And just
Yeah,
try to remember, like if you have this time to do this, it really is such a special privilege that
yeah,
we can have, to have this time to be creative, and
yeah,
try to remind yourself that this is a gift that you're giving to yourself, and
yeah,
you deserve gifts. So
yeah.
bet on
We
yourself.
do. We do deserve gifts, all the
Yeah,
gifts.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura. I've learned a lot about you and your process, and I'm sure that anybody who is watching, for our listeners who are watching and listening, they will have learned a lot too from you sharing your experience. And I can't wait to find out this title. I'm very intrigued.
And
And
thank
I'm
you
looking.
so much to you for inviting me. This has been, check off the New Year's goals of getting outside of your comfort zone. And I just
Yeah.
really appreciate and admire what you're doing, and keep inspiring us all. So
Mm.
thank you for what you're doing. And it's so nice to see your face and to have this, because we don't always get to chat like this. So I
Yeah.
feel it's very
Yeah.
special. I'm grateful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
So
Caroline.
can you, before we sign off, can you just tell people how to contact you if they want to
Sure.
contact you about this?
Yeah, you could contact me at ahmala.tw. That's like the name underneath here, ahmala.tw @gmail.com. And
Wonderful.
I
So if
just made
anybody's
this
listening
new
or
one just
watching,
for anyone who has a question.
yes, and you have questions for Laura, then you can email her. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much, Laura. We've learned a lot. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you, Caroline. Have a wonderful rest of your day and happy
You
weekend.
too. You
All right.
too.
Bye bye.
Bye.